There are things you should never do when you have a conversation with another person, and I really want to instruct you what those things are in this video, because these are some of the reasons to why sometimes people lose interest in us, people reject us, people don't want to hang out with us, okay? So don't do these mistakes, ladies, and you're going to have great networking success as you upgrade in your life. My dear elegant ladies, welcome back to a new video. Ladies, I want you to really master the art of conversation, because this is really going to take you far in life, especially when you know that I've been speaking so much about your network is your net worth. But how do we become a good person in conversation? How do we become the person that people feel is totally present, has this aura around that makes them feel good? Because when you have that aura, you naturally draw people in, and you naturally also keep people around you. People won't feel immediately that, oh, okay, you know, I have to go to the bathroom, or I want to talk to somebody else. No, they actually want to have a conversation with you, and that's going to be of great benefit, ladies. So let's dive straight into those 10 things you should absolutely not be doing when you're in a conversation with a person. Now, number one is, of course, ladies, please do not yawn at any point. I understand that from time to time, you know, if people are talking about something, it happens to everybody that we feel that we may be, you know, we're getting a little bit tired, but it's not necessarily because of the other person, it's because of ourselves. Then please really try and, first of all, never do this. We don't do that, and that's not an elegant way of yawning in general, okay? That's a very rude way when you are in public. I would personally not even do any form of cover up or, you know, face, because sometimes that's what we do when we're trying to kind of control the yawning a bit. I would personally try and control this. I would not yawn whatsoever. But if it's uncontrollable, then I would literally just bite myself as much as I can in order to control and not to show the yawning that's currently happening without my control, basically. It's the same principle as when you're trying to control a sneeze. Sometimes you actually manage, so you can also control a yawn. Now, another thing that you absolutely cannot be doing, and that's checking your time. It's incredibly rude, because let's say somebody is talking to you and you're checking your time. What does that say? Number one, you're not listening. Number two, that you're bored. Number three, you're probably just finding an excuse to leave or something like that. Do not do that. No checking time. Number three is looking around in the room. So let's say you're standing there and you're talking to me and we're having a conversation. And as you're talking, I'm just glancing, you know, elsewhere and not looking at you. How rude is that? It's again saying that, okay, what you're saying is not interesting and that my mind is currently wandering and yeah, I'm a little bit bored, so let's see what else is out there, basically. So do not do this, ladies, and I see this a lot. I always see this happen, and it's very hard not to do it. Sometimes even I do it by mistake. However, this is why it's very important to stay as present as you can in a conversation and really focus on the person you're communicating with. Another type of wandering is when your mind starts wandering away. And again, this happens to all of us in conversation. However, it's very important that you bring yourself back to where you are right now, into the conversation, into the present moment, and you refocus on what you're doing right now. I understand not everybody is interesting, not what everybody says is interesting, and sometimes stories can be a little bit too dragging. I get it, and it happens. However, if you make it obvious that you're zoning out for a second, you know, that signals rudeness. You shouldn't be doing that, and you should just try and focus on being present. If you feel like your mind is wandering off, just make yourself aware in that moment that, I'm wandering off. No, that's rude. Let me pull myself back in again. Number 6, and this is definitely if now is your time to speak. It's very rude to have a monologue. One thing is to express a story that, of course, is a bit longer. That's fine. But when you're just having a monologue and you're just talking and talking and talking, and you never let anybody else talk, or if people are trying to talk, you just speak over them. And then what happens is that it becomes a one-way street of communication. And that's one of the worst things. I personally really do not like to be in conversation with people who love monologues. And there are loads of people like that. Loads of people who love to have all eyes on them, who think that they know everything and they know best, and it's really frustrating. So please be aware in conversation. Always remind yourself when you're talking, how long have I been talking for? Has anybody else had a moment to pitch in or say something? Do people look interested right now, or are they starting to zone out? If you're noticing that people are zoning out, it's not necessarily because they are being rude. It's actually sometimes because you are just keeping a monologue and it's very, very difficult to stay present. Now, number 7 is about the phone, because of course it happens often that we might be sitting and we have our phone next to us and we might glance on our phone. Or let's say we're standing up at an event and we have the phone in our hand. Please do not start checking it or quickly, tap your screen to see if there's anything new that popped in on your screen. Please, ladies, your phone does not exist when you are in a conversation with another person. Even if you just quickly want to glance, that immediately screams rudeness. Just hide it away in a conversation and ideally also switch off the sound of the phone. This is just such basic social etiquette, but yet nobody really does it. People even bother to respond to messages and pick up the phone in the middle of a conversation. Of course, there is the exception if you are, let's say, with close friends and you are having more of a laid-back relationship or ambiance. Let's say you are sitting in a restaurant with your friends. Maybe playing with a phone is not necessarily the right environment for that, versus if you're just hanging around on somebody's living room and it's more of a casual setting, then that's different. Number 8, and this is something that I don't think everybody actually thinks about, but I'm talking about smiling or having a light smile in your expression of the mouth when people are sharing something negative. So this is what people don't actually pay attention to. Your facial expressions that respond to what they're saying. So if somebody's saying let's say a bad experience or a challenge that they're having or something like that, and you are sitting there and listening, and your facial expressions are signaling that you're kind of enjoying what they're saying, in a way that, okay, you're enjoying the negativity that they're saying, etc. And this is really important to pay attention to, because I read into this a lot. This tells me when I communicate with people, if I share something, and I'm a very open person, I'm very transparent, and I have an easy time to be vulnerable with people, well, as you can see on my platforms. And I notice in the reaction, and I really pay attention to it, how are these people responding to me? If I say that, I had this horrible thing happen to me, and you can see in their eyes that they're actually enjoying it, that they're a little bit happy for it. It shows in their facial expressions. So really pay attention to this, because a lot of people don't, and it's a big giveaway. You can easily find out if people are genuine with you or not just by reading their kind of micro expressions or their facial expressions. Number 9, and I think we all know that fidgeting of any sorts, let's say playing with your hair when somebody's talking, or keep, adjusting your clothes, or keep moving around because for whatever reason you're fidgeting. It could be you're nervous, it could be you're bored, or you're just insecure of some sort, who knows why, but it signals rudeness, and I don't want you to be moving around too much. Let's say you are bored, because it does happen. There's a lot of boring people out there, I'm sorry to say, and you are going to encounter a few from time to time. But please, do not show people that you are bored. Do not start pulling your hair because you're just waiting for the conversation to finish. You see what I mean? When situations like that happen, we really have to practice our patience, ladies. This is what shows true elegance versus, somebody who doesn't really care that much. Because true elegance is about really sticking in there, really work with your patience and work with yourself. You have control of your emotions. You're able to hold yourself in a certain manner. And this is what's really important. And also think about the fact that you are a kind person. Your soul is kind. Okay, if somebody's boring, but do you want to hurt their feelings because of that? No. So make sure you do not signal it. And fidgeting is one of those things that really gives a big tell that you are really not that engaged in the conversation. Number 10, ladies, I don't want you to cross your hands. I don't want you to sit closed off. This means closed body language signals that you are protecting yourself. Maybe you're insecure. Maybe you don't trust the person you're talking to. This is probably the worst. This doesn't look like you are open to talk to. You don't look very friendly like this. You look a little bit like you don't care. And body language is everything. This is silent communication. People read into it more than you actually think. People read probably into it more than your own words. So make sure you open yourself up. Have an open, inviting posture. Show people that you are friendly. Have a smile. Signal that you are inviting, that you are an outgoing person. If you are somebody who feels like your natural appearance is that you easily look a bit closed down, then really work on these things. Open yourself up, and you're going to see that you are going to have an easier time meeting new people, and that is going to elevate you in all aspects of your life. Now, ladies, in my next video, how to deal with rudeness in an elegant way, you're going to find out more about communication, just the same way we have spoken in this video, but there I go much more in depth into the topic of rudeness. So don't miss that video, ladies, because I am going to see you there.